So the University of Johannesburg has been working, and we have seen this particular topic. These are bonus minutes, Chairperson. Has been working on the image building as a concept, together from a branding standpoint of view, but also how do we elevate the brand that the university's brand, and how do we correlate that particularly with the brand of the Confucius Institute. So there we go. So I've titled this particular slide the topic as building the image of a Confucius Institute in the modern era of the Fourth Industrial Revolution. So what is happening here is, this is going faster. What is happening in this era is, perhaps this is an important slide in the sense that it shows the rate at which human adaptability has occurred. And human adaptability has been at a linear rate. And what has also happened simultaneously is that technology has moved at a much faster rate. And what our strategy has been is, how do we leverage the growth in technology when it comes to brand elevation and when it comes to raising the image of an institution. The university's strategy is, in fact, aligned to the Fourth Industrial Revolution. Basically, that means is infusing artificial intelligence in an appropriate way across all disciplines of the university, from humanities and social sciences to engineering, and this is something that we are already implementing. And so a big part of this has been around people, around teaching and learning, and on research and innovation. And I will focus more on the aspect that then relate to the Confucius Institute. So the Confucius Institute is looking at how do we leverage this aspect of innovation for research, but also to build the image of the institution. For us, excellence, and I think just like for most institutions here, excellence is key. But it's not very clear from this particular slide deck, but if you look into the field-weighted citation impact, what shows here is that the cooperation with the different universities in China has meant for us as a university that the field-weighted citation impact of our research is tremendously high, and that has been from the China Academy of Science to Tsinghua University to Peking and to others, and also, of course, with our partner institution. So I'm going to cover 4 areas which we have, I think, made an impact. The first is that South Africa has also got a major aspect in terms of alleviation of poverty. We leverage particularly the approach of China and the approach of the President Xi Jinping. And this year, the university made a major decision, and it might be one of the first in the world outside of China to give an honorary doctorate to President Xi Jinping. And so that happened. Again, it aligns. So there's image building, but there's also deep strategic alignment that is applicable here. We also, in the second component, we also leverage the in-person and ensuring that the leadership has been present at different engagements that the institution organizes. For example, when we organize the Autumn Festival, we make sure that we do this with the Consul General and with the embassy. And so through the presence of leadership has been another very important angle when it comes to elevating the relation. At the same time, we look at what is also important for South Africa in the role, for example, in the United Nations Security Council, and what are the views, for example, for instance, with China, and how do we bring this about. So that's been the second component. The third component has been on strategic partnerships. We have tried to leverage the aspect of the Confucius Institute as a bridge to also develop joint science councils, and this is a joint science council which has been established with Nanjing Tech, our partner university in Confucius Institute. And this is in the area of chemical sciences, which is also where Nanjing Tech is a state key laboratory in China. So you would notice a thread that from culture we also have developed the research footprint in a major way. The most important part of my presentation is this last area, which is on the utilization of innovative technologies. So we have really used different social media platforms, including WeChat, but WeChat has been a prominent one because it has been used to set up many programs, and also use that, and if you're interested, if you scan that, you would be able to follow the University of Johannesburg WeChat platform. We tend to have a news release almost all the time, almost on a weekly basis. And we have this in Chinese as well as in English. The next component is, again, you can see from the social media platform that this is our co-director, Professor Peng He, and she's also uses video media. But what is also interesting is the aspect of views and recommendations as analytics. And so here we're looking at how do we actually start to measure what would constitute elements of image building. In the next slide, you can also see the power of translation to be able to get real-time translation of text in Chinese. And this is, for example, from one of the sessions here. And we're also trying to develop other social media platforms which are more popular in a local context in South Africa to propagate the world. In terms of the measuring of image building, this is an index called, I think it's the Qingbo index, I might be mispronouncing it. In South Africa it works, but here you know how to pronounce it, so it might not work so well. These are the different aspects that's utilized in terms of developing the propagation of this index and measuring our success when it comes to image building. So what I have tried to do here, and I've put down a paper, I guess these presentations might be available later on, is that it's not simply about building image for the sake of building image, but it's about building image in a way that it can be measured and whether that measure can help to take forward the strategic alignment that the institution may have. We have also an imager in terms of the model CI that we're looking at. This is a virtual component. And lastly, those two, the in purple is what we see as key, is the ability to utilize artificial intelligence and machine learning as a way to expedite what constitutes taking the image and forward, especially in those areas where we have developed our impact. And so the relation of analytics and impact, and then to measure the engagement and collaborations, that I think would be the key aspect that this presentation